the question that it opens up, firstly, is why she's listed at different addresses and her children and husband are listed at different addresses. Does that have an implication for the details she's registered with the electoral roll, which is an offence to register incorrect details?
Politics, and the Deputy Labour leader Angela Rayner is facing questions about the sale of her council house in 2015. Let's talk about that with our political editor at Times Radio, Kate McCann. Hello, Kate.
Hello.
So take us through, what is this controversy about?
Yeah, it's quite a complicated story, John, but essentially a story emerged over the weekend, which is part of a new book about Angela Rayner. And it suggests that she initially had sold, well, she bought a house under right to buy and then sold it for a profit, which, she's perfectly entitled to do. She is, of course, in charge of housing policy for the Labour Party to some extent. So there have been some questions about whether or not that is something that Labour would pursue. They've said they want to curb that scheme. But I think the bigger questions that have emerged this week are about why Angela Rayner has registered herself at different addresses at different times. So in 2010, she married her husband at the time, Mark Rayner. And between 2010 and 2015, she was listed on the electoral roll at that house, her own house that she bought. But her husband was listed on the electoral roll at a different house about a mile down the road. In 2010, Angela Rayner re-registered her children on their birth certificate at his address, so the different property. And that's led to questions about where she was living, whether she was living at the property with him and, in theory, the children, or whether she was living at the other property. Now, neighbours have said that she left her house, moved into his house in 2009. And then she later sold that property in 2015. Now, all of the sale of that property was fine, but the question that it opens up, firstly, is why she's listed at different addresses and her children and husband are listed at different addresses. Does that have an implication for the details she's registered with the electoral roll, which is an offence to register incorrect details? But the bigger question that's emerged today and formed a big part of the post-lobby briefing with Labour's spokespeople is about capital gains tax and whether or not Angela Rayner paid capital gains tax on the property that she sold. Now, she says she didn't and she wasn't supposed to because she owned that property and her husband owned a different home, which was his. But under the rules, as I can understand them at the moment from HMRC, if you are a married couple, you can only select one property for that exemption. And both she and her husband sold those properties and neither paid capital gains tax. So at some point, somewhere, in theory, somebody should have paid that tax. Now, those questions were put to Labour's spokesman today.
Yeah.
And he said Keir Starmer has full faith in Angela Rayner, that she has paid all the appropriate taxes and there is nothing further to add to this story. But I think it's fair to say, John, that lots of outlets here are asking for more information from Angela Rayner about that and about whether tax was due, and if not, why not?
Right. So where is this heading, Kate? I mean, is it going to be possible to unearth or find and put your finger on provable facts here, which settle this whole question?
Well, some of the facts are in the public domain. So those details that I've just read out to you, they've been confirmed by Angela Rayner on Twitter. But she herself, as I've said there, has said she doesn't have any tax to pay and that this is all a smear campaign against her. It's spurious claims about her financial situation. I think the difficulty is journalists have asked Angela Rayner and her team for more information about, for example, why she was registered at one address on the electoral roll and her children were registered on their birth certificate at a different address when she was obviously married, and you would think that a married couple would be living in the same place.
Yeah.
She said that she's given all the information she needs to and she doesn't have to give any more. And Labour's senior team of comms experts are saying the same thing. So in terms of where this goes, it's very difficult without any more information from Angela Rayner to determine exactly what has happened here. But tax experts say they cannot see a reason why at least one party in this situation wouldn't have paid capital gains tax. So I think in terms of the politics of this, at the moment, Keir Starmer is saying she has his full backing. And she's saying, I've given you all the answers you need. But in terms of the numbers, I think there is still some information required to just really get to the bottom of exactly what's been going on.
Okay, keep us posted on that. I know you will. Kate McCann, our political editor. Thank you.